Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So Cris Carter basically put out a bombshell interview on the channel Fully Loaded. He published this show, yesterday, right? He published this show yesterday, and it was centered on some comments that were about Skip Bayless. The title of the show says, Cris Carter says why he would punch Skip Bayless in the effing face, right? It's about a 49-minute segment. His channel seems to be fairly new with 1,000 subs, and it's called Fully Loaded, so y'all go ahead and check that out, right? So we had actually produced another show that was more focused on what he had to say about Skip. It's going to depend on which order you're watching the shows today. But we produced another show earlier today, right? So as I was continuing to listen to the soundbite, to the segment, as he was talking about Skip, he then began to veer off in another direction, although it was kind of related to Skip. He started to talk about something that I was unaware of. And he was basically exposing how the Skip Baylesses of the world, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, are pretty much engineered and pushed upon viewers by the way they're able to select topics, the way that they ensure that they come out on top whenever they're debating certain issues on the show. And to be honest with you, these are things I never knew, because I've never worked on TV, so I would never know this. But I never knew this. I never knew that they were always being propped up to always come out on top in these debates. And it wasn't because it wasn't that they were winning these debates because, they were doing it on the merit or because they were smart. They were doing it based on, they were put in a favorable position whenever they were debating across the desk with other people. And I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And to me, it made it seem like a lot of this is engineered, and a lot of the stuff that we see, it really began to make me question, well, how authentic are these things that we're watching on a daily basis on television? So for those of you who didn't hear what Cris Carter had to say about this, I want to play his comments for you now. I want you guys to listen to it carefully, and then want to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to that there.
Number one thing you should know about Skip Bayless and some of the programming, the way that it was done at ESPN and at Fox, I'm going to say this, that it's a form of wrestling.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you know who gonna win. You know who gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah, it's predetermined. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the arguments and everything are either predetermined or assigned.
You're gonna win this one.
And everything is slanted in Skip and Stephen A's favor. Yeah. They pick the subjects, and they pick what side they gonna take.
Then you gotta defend the other one. It's like showing up to court and picking out what you want to do for. Yeah, let me look at the odds first, then I'll pick my side.
And now I'm gonna say something about Stephen A. Stephen A. is an authentic dude. He is a journalist. He's a broadcaster. He's also an entertainer. And he's fair. And Stephen A. has a treasure trove of information about people that he would never let go on the air. It would make him more popular, but he'll never
do it.
He would never do it because he's got stories. He's got context. He's got relationships. He's got sources like that would carry you a lifetime in the business. Like, he is legit. He is the real deal. But to me, it was always, Stephen A. was always carrying Skip.
Yeah, agreed.
And Stephen A.'s audience was accepting of Skip, or it just got them so fired up that they really got into the debate thing. The other thing when he went to Fox was he didn't know Shannon was going to be the commodity, and he had no clue that Shannon was going to have the type of following that he was going to have to bring to this.
Correct.
He underestimated that, and Fox tried to play cheap. They underplayed their hand, with him, realizing that because in debating, there's only two places you can go, either ESPN or Fox.
That's right.
So there's not a lot of places for sports broadcasters, and most sports broadcasters are not into debating. That is the style of the last 10 years, and has been very, very favorable to create these daytime shows to create content during the week. But to me, I never thought he was authentic. I never thought that I should take him serious because he covered the Cowboys and now he's trying to talk about the NBA, talk about LeBron.
Yeah.
I've seen these arguments and stuff that are, you'd have to be a lunatic to believe what you're saying.
Correct.
And they swear, oh man, he believes every argument. There's no way that he can believe that LeBron is not a clutch player.
Correct.
There is no way that he thought Tim Tebow was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, because he's a smart guy. He's not an idiot.
He can't be an idiot. I would agree.
But
with that.
sometimes he acts like one.
For the show, for the production, for the.
I just think he has made a business out of coming up with outlandish comments.
So you heard what Cris Carter had to say there. What are my thoughts on what he had to say? First of all, as I said earlier, I was unaware that this is how things work. Totally unaware. I guess in the independent space, it works a little bit differently. Now, if you have a show like ours that we operate, if you have a show that's just one personality, it's not a debate show. So you choose a topic and you choose your position on the topic, right? It's not like as if we're doing this show with Marcellus Wiley and we have a topic and then I'm like, okay, hold on, I'm going to talk about this, you talk about that. It's not like that, right? That's the first thing. The second thing, when you're in the independent space and, for example, you go on someone else's show, you don't get to tell people, okay, you have that position, I'm going to take this position. No, there's a topic, they throw it out at the table, right? And then everyone kind of give their opinion on it. And then out of that, organically, if one person says something, like if person A says something that person C doesn't agree with, then you may have a bit of a back and forth, but it's done organically. It's not premeditated, right? So to me, that's how it works in the independent space, and that's how I thought it always worked, right? Where I've been on shows and there's a particular topic, and I'll just chime in for a few minutes and say, okay, I'll say this and I'll say that, and then the other person may say this, and then one person may say, I disagree with you. I may say to the other person, I disagree with you, or whatever. And then to the people listening, I guess the entertainment factor comes in where they think, okay, well, this guy made a pretty good argument, or this girl made a pretty good argument, or I like how so-and-so got at Charles, or I disagree with so-and-so person and I disagree. I think that's how it kind of works, and that's how you kind of build the entertainment factor for people viewing a lot of these independent channels. Whereas on TV, it's a totally different thing. On TV, it's a lot more premeditated, right? It's a lot more premeditated, and to me, that's not organic. And I think I've heard Marcellus Wiley mention this before, where he said that you gotta disagree on topics, because if you don't disagree, then there's no entertainment factor. There's no entertainment factor, and it seems like this is a style of producing shows that television has embraced. And to me, I think that if two people have a genuine disagreement on a particular issue, that's entertaining. But I also believe that if two people share the same views on a particular issue, that can be interesting based on the points that those people make. Because it doesn't always have to be for an audience, man, did you hear how so-and-so person went at so-and-so person? Because then it becomes messy. It becomes messy. And it looks like every single morning we're looking for what to argue about and what to fight about, versus, what are the most interesting things to talk about and what are the most interesting things I can say? Not, oh, what are you going to say? So let me hear what you're going to say. Okay, this is where you're thinking of going. Okay, let me think of something to holler back and forth with you. And I think that is the change that we're witnessing take place in sports media. This kind of debate and hollering and screaming back and forth with each other, I think is kind of dying down, because at times it crosses the line. And whenever it does cross the line, you get situations like you did with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, where it becomes too personal And then now it's no longer about sports. No longer about sports. What Skip said about Shannon and the person, that has nothing to do with this. Talking about Shannon Sharp's career and what he did or what he couldn't do has nothing to do with the point. That's the point that Cris Carter made. He's like, what does it have to do? What is the connection between me not winning a Super Bowl and me evaluating whether or not I think Tim Tebow is a good quarterback? These things are mutually exclusive. But you're gonna take a shot at me. You're gonna take a shot at me because you ran out of things to say, and you're still thinking in the back of your mind, it has to be messy. It has to be messy. We have to fight. We have to argue. We have to cuss at each other. And then you do something like that. So in that moment is great television, but you just insulted someone on your way to making great TV. So to me, man, it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting that, this is how it really works behind the scenes. And I'm very happy that Cris Carter was able to share that information because it was enlightening to people like me at the very least. So these are my thoughts. What I want to know from you guys. What do you think about today's analysis? What do you think about what Cris Carter had to say? Where do you stand on all of this? Are you for it? Are you against it? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments and we catch you on the next show. Peace.